Your team might need a free agent. Let's see which is the most needed free agent on your NBA team. Coming up right after this. My name is Kevin Barral from the KO Podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe to our channel and follow us for more content like this, as well as our social medias. Go to those. Those are all linked below. Today, we are going to go through all NBA teams and discuss which free agents I think they should try to sign. Only free agents. I'm not going to include sign-in trades, not going to include restricted free agents are in this. I'm just not going to pretend as the scenario in which the team matches. For example, Duncan Robinson, I'm not going to make the Heat match each offer. So we're just going to go through some general players that just seem to make sense for this team. A couple teams have 2 or 3 options. So we'll get into that. For our first team is the Philadelphia 76ers. They will be getting Kyle Lowry. I think this is the best fit for Kyle Lowry. Just makes all the sense in the world. He's from Philadelphia. They need a guy there who could run the point guard. So that is maybe the best option for Philly. Another good option is Mike Conley. I think Mike Conley Jr. would be a great option for the 76ers to bring in and see what he could do for this team. A little bit in the Utah Jazz role. And I do want to mention a lot of these guys are mentioned more than once for different teams just because they make that much sense. Next player for the Portland Trail Blazers, I have Kylie Uber Jr. Just makes all the sense in the world. I think this is a guy who could easily play that small forward spot, help out Dame and CJ. If CJ McCollum does not get traded, you also have Yusuf Nurkic. Then you have Zach Collins. That starting five is pretty scary. And then you have Robert Covington and Norman Powell if he comes back. Next player is Spencer Dinwiddie. The Brooklyn Nets need to bring this guy back to Brooklyn, man. Spencer Dinwiddie's a big piece. He's a good bench player. He's a good everything, man. So just bring him back, Brooklyn. See what you can do. Try to keep a title contending like you did this year. Lost to the Bucks in 7. Tough game. I'm not gonna get into that though. Next team is Duncan Robinson going to the Milwaukee Bucks. This one has been talked about. It's been rumored. Lord, do not let this happen. As a Miami Heat fan, please don't let this happen. I need him to stay. I need Duncan to stay in Miami. The good thing is he's a restricted free agent. So, yeah. Next team is the Chicago Bulls. At the Chicago Bulls, in fact, keeping Lonzo Ball. Bringing in Lonzo Ball. I think this is the perfect free agent scenario for him. Even though Kobe White's there, I think Kobe White could come off the bench or even switch to shooting guard. We'll see how that works, but this is probably maybe the best fit for Lonzo Ball right now. Cleveland Cavaliers, Josh Richardson. I think this is a good fit for Cleveland. It's a guy that's young, but he's a vet. He knows how to play. He's been in the playoffs many times. It just makes sense for him to go there and maybe help out Cleveland with the development system. Next team is the Boston Celtics, bringing in Mike Conley. I think Mike Conley makes all the sense in the world for a team like the Boston Celtics. He's a guy who they need. They lost Kemba. Well, they didn't lose him. They traded Kemba. They could get a replacement, Mike Conley, a guy who I think would be a lot more efficient than Kemba Walker. Nothing crazy. Maybe a 1-year deal worth $10 or $20 million. And you bring him in and see what he could do for you. Los Angeles Clippers, you got to re-sign Kawhi Leonard, folks. Just has to happen. If he doesn't come back, I think the reporter said it right. That'll put the Clippers back 10 years, a decade. They're going to have to rebuild everything from top to bottom, or they're going to have to bring in a guy like DeMar DeRozan to see what happens. But we're going to go on to the next team, Memphis Grizzlies. I think they should bring in a Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo would make sense for this team just because they do need a shooting guard. I think that position could be a little more stable, and I think bringing in a guy like Victor Oladipo on a 1-year prove-it deal would make a lot of sense. Next team, Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks should bring back John Collins. Re-sign this man. This man has done everything to help you get into the Eastern Conference Finals and as well win Game 1 against the Milwaukee Bucks. Another good option would be bring in Mike Conley, bring in a backup point guard for Trae Young, a solid backup. There's no way he starts on that team unless he's a shooting guard. But besides that, this is the perfect fit. This is a good fit. I'm not going to say it's the perfect fit. I think the perfect fit for him would be LA, the Clippers, which I did not include. This would be a good fit for him. Or you go to Philadelphia. I think those are the best options. Boston's another good one. Miami Heat. You're going to see different colors for the Miami Heat because we're honoring the vice colors the final year. So here we go. Kawhi Leonard. I think Miami has to bring in Kawhi Leonard. This is the best free agent on the board. He is the big fish of the free agent board, free agent market, whatever you want to call it. Miami has what they need to bring him in. Decline Dragic, decline Iguodala, or you could sign and trade. I think sign and trade is what Miami will be doing a lot of this season. So we'll see what happens. Another player they should bring in for sure or bring back is Victor Oladipo. 1 year prove-it deal. Make this happen, Miami. Victor Oladipo is a stud. He is a defender. I think you guys would have taken this at least to 7 games or 6 games if you had Victor Oladipo on the roster against Milwaukee instead of getting swept 4-0. Next player, no jersey edit needed. Former Miami Heat Josh Richardson. Bring this man back. He never did anything wrong for this team. He got traded for Jimmy Butler. There's not much you could do there, but come on, bring back Jay Rich on a 2-year, $15 million deal. This guy's a stud. He knows how to play the game. He had success in Miami, a lot of success. He was the best player the final year that Dwayne Wade was on the Miami Heat. He was the best player, the top player on that team. Next player I think Miami should bring in, obviously, is DeMar DeRozan. This guy is a stud. He would help the Miami Heat out immediately. There's no doubt about that. He would easily be the second or third scorer on the team. I don't think he's ever had success as a first scorer, as a first option on a championship team. Miami would easily make a championship run and compete with the Brooklyn Big Three of Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and James Harden. So just keep that in mind. Next team is Charlotte Hornets. Bring in John Collins. This makes a lot of sense. You would be able to move PJ Washington maybe to the center spot, and Miles Bridges, you could keep him at small forward. This makes sense. John Collins is a dog. He's an offensive machine. He's going to help you out. Next team, Utah Jazz. Get Duncan Robinson on the Utah Jazz. Imagine what that would do. That would make that team a 3-point threat. Joe Ingles and Duncan Robinson just bombing threes. And then you have Donovan Mitchell. That would make the Utah Jazz a better team. That would make them a better team, man. Just easily. Next team, Sacramento Kings. Bring in Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. would make great sense for this team. I think all these free agents make sense, but Tim Hardaway does make sense for this team. Put him on a bench role, make him a 6-man, or make him a starter next to De'Aaron Fox. I think shooting guard is something they very much need. As well as I will say a power forward would be a need. Zach Collins is a free agent. James Johnson you could maybe bring in just for a mentorship role. So those are some good options. Next team, New York Knicks, DeMar DeRozan. This one has been rumored a lot, so this is why I put it. DeMar DeRozan is a great player. He's still not going to be a number 1 option. I think he'll be a number 2, maybe even number 3 if they bring back Derrick Rose. So New York Knicks bring in DeMar DeRozan. This one's pretty obvious when it comes to the Lakers, but bring in Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry is a great player on a great team that would make them a top team in the West. I do not want LeBron to win another chip, in my opinion, but Kyle Lowry would make that team a lot better, especially since AD is always injured. LeBron's now declining, I would say, in my opinion, getting injured a lot. So just makes sense to bring in a guy like Kyle Lowry to help out the point guard role too, since Dennis Schroeder is a lot better at the 6-man spot. So, and then this team is a little bit deflated when it comes to bench and depth. This team doesn't have the greatest depth at all. So makes sense to bring in a guy like Kyle Lowry. Orlando Magic. Get yourself Kelly Oubre Jr. Even though you're not going to compete, make a move with Kelly Oubre, get him on the roster, and that will make your team so much better. Kelly Oubre, I do like the guy. He's on this list, I think maybe once or more, 1 time or 2 times more. I have no idea. But he's a good player. He should be on the championship team. But Kelly Oubre would make sense to go into the Orlando Magic where nothing crazy is going on. But I think maybe Orlando can make something happen. They have a good team. Cole Anthony, RJ Hampton. You have Gary Harris. You have Wendell Carter. You've brought in young core pieces to hop out the squad, so makes sense to do that. Dennis Schroeder, next player on this list, going to the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas needs a point guard. I think Dennis Schroeder would be an obvious choice there. Just the backup Jalen Brunson, or maybe start in place of Jalen Brunson. I do like that move though. Next team, Denver Nuggets. I see them bringing in a backup center, getting Daniel Tice. Daniel Tice would be a great fit for the Denver Nuggets. Another one I was thinking about as well is a Nerlens Noel kind of guy. Nerlens Noel would be a great fit for the Denver Nuggets. I think what Denver really lacks is a backup center. I'm not sure who it is right now, but whatever they have Bobo. Okay, so this would be maybe a power forward or center spot. But besides that, I think this just makes the most sense. Next team is the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers, I think, should bring in Josh Richardson, Jay Rich. Josh Richardson is once more on the list. This is just a guy who I think is an all-around great player. He's a Miami Heat stud. He was a Miami Heat culture guy. He should have been Heat lifer. Sucks the way things ended because I think they could have traded Winslow instead of him. But besides that, Jay Rich is on the list. Once again, going to Indiana, he will pair up with Malcolm Brogdon, Aaron Holiday. You have Sabonis. That's a very good team, and they did just get Rick Carlisle as their head coach. So that just makes everything sweeter to bring this guy in. Another obvious pick would be Kylie Uber once again to join the Indiana Pacers. Pretty much would play the same role at the small forward spot, which is one I feel like they have been lacking for sure, because since Jeremy Lamb is obviously as a bench role player. So that just makes sense to bring in a guy like Kelly Oubre or Josh Richardson. New Orleans Pelicans. I think Kylie Uber just makes sense again. This guy's been so much on so many teams. I think he's once more going to be on the list. But Kelly Oubre makes sense once again for the Pelicans, as well as a guy like John Collins, which is a guy who just brings offense, and that is what New Orleans needs right now. They need a guy who could bring offense. That'll be John Collins. Okay, Houston Rockets. Josh Richardson, Jay Rich. Makes sense, obviously. I think all of these signings make sense. Sorry, I keep saying makes sense so many times. It's just true. Josh Richardson would come in on a Houston team that is not good. He would immediately, I think, turn into the number one option behind Jalen Green or Cade Cunningham, whoever goes to Houston with that second overall pick. But Josh Richardson would easily mentor these guys. He's a vet in this league. He's had playoff success. I said it once. I'm saying it again, but Josh Richardson's the way to go, Houston. Maybe a 1 or 2 year deal. San Antonio Spurs, Kelly Oubre Jr. Makes sense. This is a guy who I think just Popovich has liked this guy. They said they would love to bring him into San Antonio. So just make this happen. Phoenix Suns. I think Phoenix Suns should easily bring in Chris Paul back again. Chris Paul has carried this team out, not really, but he's been a huge impact to the team. I think he's been the most important piece on that Phoenix Suns roster, just because of how effective he's been and how effective he's going to be for years to come. He's had the greatest career turnaround from a guy who people said this guy has the worst contract in the NBA, which is not wrong. But this guy, just people saying he was going to retire and it's over for Chris Paul. He's come back and they're up 2-0 in the Western Conference Finals. He's going to play Game 3 after his slight absence because of the COVID protocol. Phoenix Suns, Spencer Dinwiddie. Get this man on Phoenix. If you're not able to bring in Chris Paul, get Spencer Dinwiddie. This is a great option for the team. A guy who I don't think goes back to Brooklyn, in my opinion. I think he tries to look at other options like Phoenix, maybe Miami, Boston would be a great options for Spencer Dinwiddie. I have him on one more spot in this video, but I do like this. It just aligns perfectly for what Phoenix needs. They need another point guard, a younger guy. I think a backup role would make sense for him. So I'd like this, even though they do have Cameron Payne, which I think that guy's been a stud. Great comeback. OKC Thunder, Cody Zeller. Oh, God. Yeah, you should be asking why Cody Zeller. They need a center. I don't think that team's really going to compete. You have Kemba Walker. Bring in the center that Kemba Walker's used to. I think that's just an obvious pick there. Pick up there. Cody Zeller probably won't go back to Charlotte unless Charlotte really wants him, but Cody Zeller go into Oklahoma. Next team, Golden State Warriors. I have Kawhi Leonard in a sign-in trade going there. I think James Wiseman, Andrew Wiggins would be on the move if the Warriors make this move. That would easily put them as the best team in the league. Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry, and Draymond. That would be insane, man. All right. Washington Wizards, we're coming down to the final two teams. Well, three. Detroit, I did not put Detroit on my list just because just sign anyone you can. Zach Collins, sign anyone you can. I think your biggest move is going to be drafting your number one overall pick. But Wizards, get DeMar DeRozan on the team. Let's make this happen. You guys had so much success last season. Get that success back going. I mean, you guys were one of the worst teams right before the All-Star break. You guys came back and dominated. Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, please stay together on the team. You guys are a dynamic duo. You guys might be one of the best backcourts in the league right now until Steph and Klay come back. But, man, bringing DeMar DeRozan, that team's looking real scary. Just imagine this. Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, then you have DeMar DeRozan, Rui Hachimura, and whoever your center is going to be, Thomas Bryant. That's just a crazy lineup. Then you have a bench of Davis Bertans. Just think of it like that, man. That would be a very good team. The final team I have on my list is the Minnesota Timberwolves, bringing in Spencer Dinwiddie. This would pretty much be a back role or play the shooting guard role, small forward. Spencer Dinwiddie, he has to go to a team where he's going to get production time, and that's the best team, I think, in my opinion. Well, there you have it, folks. Those are my NBA free agency, not predictions. I'm going to make my predictions video. Probably be my second video of the NBA free agency videos. We're going to be making a lot of free agency stuff. But There it is, guys. I think those are the free agents that each team should bring in. And then I'm gonna go through my opinion on what I think is gonna happen. So once again, make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us for more content. I will be uploading on La Pecera of Miami Marlins. I know I've been extremely lacking on there. I'm trying to get this crazy interview. I know all my Miami Marlins fans are gonna go crazy, but it's a cool interview. It could possibly be a Marlins prospect, top prospect of the Marlins system. So we'll see what happens there. My name is Kevin Barrera, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace out.